All right, welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread Podcast. I'm Eli.
And I'm Ben, and we're back with our 103rd episode, the finale, Chapter 10 of Grendel Warchild. Wow, it's been a long time coming. Great double-sized issue, Eli.
Ooh, big one, dude. Let's quickly, this is our first episode of the year. We're back, lots of big stuff coming in the new year. I got almost 10 books on the docket for Cosmic Lion Productions for this year. Wow. One of which may be by...
It may be by me if I can finish it. But I am 8 pages into finished stuff, whatever. Yeah. Some of it's in black and white, some of it's in color, some of it's tricks everywhere. Enough about me. I'm excited. I'm not going to lose momentum. Eli, tell me you podcasted already today with the fellows plus Shelley Bond. Very exciting.
That's right. And I even was on Tim Heidecker's office hours this morning, which was fun. Another time I got to chat with Tim on that show. It's always fun. Just a ton of comics work going on. Let's not beleaguer it. We got 60 pages to hit up through. Let's get into it.
90 pages.
Is it 90? No, it's
50.
50.
It's
all right.
Some people think it's 40, some 50. Regardless, we're gonna Grendel.
Is my best friend. Hunter rose with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter, my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Manus and Easy You Busy, Zach, wherever you're at now, buddy. Ben, let's get into it, but first, why don't you catch us back up with where we are?
I'm very tired, so I'm going to try to read this as well as I can. It's chapter 50, Devil in the House. Having breached the entrance to the vampire's hidden lair, Grendel and the rebels fended off repeated attacks from the shadows. With his power supply rapidly dwindling, Grendel finally collapsed under the strain. Oh no. Hearing the hum of a nearby generator, the Grendels dragged the helpless cyborg further into the vampire den. Just as Jupiter was about to be sacrificed to his captor's despotic messiah, a re-energized Grendel leapt between them and cut the boy free. Oh. Thrusting his sword deep into the exposed brain of Pelin Cross, remember him? Grendel crippled the power of all the vampires long enough for the rebels to lead the escape. Okay. Oh, yeah. Back at the capital, Laurel Asante's public displays of dementia finally gave Heath the excuse he needed to shunt her off into seclusion at the Dakota complex. In Alaska, Crystal and Susan encountered another political exile, Benjamin Martell, coming out of nowhere, who immediately recognized the wayward princess. Graciously, he offered them shelter and a meal at his nearby cabin. Meanwhile, a tundra away, the rebels had paused to listen to Heath's broadcast the announcement of his new rule as Regent Proxy. Though they considered the moment ripe for rebellion, Jupiter cautioned them against it. That was great. Oh. They have remained in flight until he became old enough for the task that now awaits him. And thus, in the same font, 10 years elapsed. ... I really like this.
Yeah, I like this new helmet he's got. As we see, I think every issue of this series, it starts off with these wide transportation shots. He's cruising across on his own scooter.
This is the same one. This is the same bike, I think.
Well, maybe, because
who knows?
The next page,
if I had my trade, I could tell you.
I think maybe you're right, because we see on the next page, we see him take this awesome new Grendel helmet off. He looks over these vistas and we hear, "Hail Jupiter Asante." So we see Asante. We see him now. Like
that is quite the deep space vista. That's like, look what Bernie does with the clouds. It really has that like panoramic feel to it.
Oh yeah, because there's always kind of like these clouds, and then there's like these clouds. Yeah. Beautiful. So
this is Azif 10 years later.
Yeah, we kind of meet back up with the old crew, and I like how they call him the Warrior, and he just kind of pulls up on his bike on this new, different Akira style bike. It looks like.
Yeah, this is his bike. Does he look like a little more portly in this one, or is it just the way
There's
he's sitting
one
on the
thing
bike?
where he's like standing, where he's like hunched over. I'm like, whoa, okay, dude.
So I remember way back in our 100th issue, on our 100th episode, I don't remember who was one of the Wagners was saying that, probably Matt, was that I think he ended up, even though there's like a lot of people, Kurt Hathaway and all the other assistants are credited alongside the ailing the other
Pat
guy,
McEwen,
what's his
yeah.
name? Pat McEwen. That like Matt was doing a lot of the lifting on this, and Brennan made a really interesting comment, which was that like Matt knows better than anyone what the character looks and feels like. And to me, that's like not just like the 3D model in their head, but like the the voice, the motivation, all the all the internal stuff.
The acting, as you say many times. Yeah, there is 4 people credited as illustrated by Matt Wagner, Pat McEwen, Ken Henderson, and Monty Sheldon.
You got to get it done, fellas.
Gotta get it done.
Bernie and Catherine Delaney come in really hot. Look at these like zipatone fade patterns that they're doing with the brown dots all over the place.
I immediately noticed that. It's so cool.
Where was this effect the whole book?
Yeah, right. Really interesting.
Yeah.
When
they're on,
they're just kind of like reconnoitering here. They're out looking for these
they're picking
creatures.
They're picking up signals. They assume they're bears, but there's like a hand in the foreground. And it's funny, that's actually a note that got played with Benjamin Martell in the last issue, like the voyeur,
Oh yeah, exactly.
Over the shoulder of mystery voyeur.
We never know. Oh, we do know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we flash over back to is it Colorado? No, it's
this is the Sun House. This is in Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, in Denver. Yeah.
This is in Denver. And it switches over to Crystal's text from her book.
Exactly. Which we haven't seen this run at all. But the whole
and this
Tim
might
Sale
be
run was
right, but that actually might be a different book by Crystal. I'm not sure.
That was the tale of Orion Asante, and this is the tale of Jupiter Asante. I think we see at the end.
We'll solve that later. The Sun Gun returns. This is probably the most rendering any one object has received in this entire book, and it looks great.
It looks great.
It looks really good. So Heath, so in the 10 years that have passed, the clans have been uprising nonstop.
Like crazy.
Military resources are stretched completely thin, and Heath's gamble is to like put the Sun Gun on top of the Sun House and activate it as like the ultimate like I am still in charge. Don't fuck with me.
Look what I can do. This ultimate sign of power that Orion had. Like I can still wield it, though he has no information about how to use it, how it works, where to get all the bananas.
And his guys don't know that either.
No. You think it still runs on bananas? I mean, I guess not.
Oh, maybe that's the thing, that no one told them that it runs on bananas. But I think we do know why it's not running already.
On bananas.
Well, spoil it. Yeah, we know. Yeah. The working components of the Sun Gun is the power gun.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So
anyway, we have
Heath cool.
Just being kind of like a shit. He's talking about how Laurel has been cast like into the Dakota house. She's just kept there. He hopes to show this, and then people are like, "Can we help? Can we have word?" And he's like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
so just like all the other issues, we cross cut between scenes with turn of a page, and what happens here is an ambush by another clan of guys with all kinds of Grendel. Native Grendel iconography. This is very cool. And Jupiter is super stoic as they dispatch them.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, to me, it looks like they pop up and Prime just like, boo, 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 boo. Just like takes out like 4 of them in one, just like nobody else is doing anything. Nobody moves except Prime's just like blam, 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 blam.
Actually, all of
I guess
those guys are shooting except for Jupiter. Jupiter just sits there. and he lets one glance off of his helmet, and then he just is cold. He just takes this guy down.
Yeah, and it continues to show the way that Jupiter has grown to be this like almost emotionless, powerful person who just knows he's destined for this thing and almost has no fear.
It's funny, like in this very last panel where he watches this wounded guy about to throw a knife at him, and he's totally nonchalant. He has the same. It's a weird, teeny tiny, far back, like Mobius simple face, which there's a number of here, but it's like the same expression that he would wear as a boy for the last 9 issues. It's very interesting.
Right, love his jacket.
Yeah,
I want that jacket.
And he's also got Grendel eyes on his bandana on the next page. You'll see.
Sweet. Oh yeah, I see that. And so this is interesting too. Choice of color on the next page 8. Yeah. Green, yellow, red, almost like
Yeah,
we immediately like stop sign that in our head. So it's like go, and he's like, I will not yield, and then he stops.
There's another sequence where they do the solid colors. I think it's yellow, orange, red, or red, orange, yellow, and it has the same kind of. There's some great Zappa in this where it's sort of set up like not quite a 9-panel grid, but you got this 6-panel grid, and then the little one lets go, and then underlapping is the crow coming in on this guy's carcass and all that.
Pecking him out. Yeah,
that's great.
He's just like emotionless, totally chill. Like all that happens, and he's like kind of just picks up the conversation where it left off before all this melee happened. He's like, let's go. And they take off.
As Azif will describe Jupiter later on, and it's one of these really meaty, like thematic bits. There's a lot of really good meaty thematic bits in this issue.
Yeah,
can't wait to get more. They're stopped on the road by a giant Grendel Wicker Man.
Yeah, it's crazy. What do they call it? A commanding Grendel crowned in thorns. Little Thor action figures just all over it. And then we hear this voice from the woods saying, I knew you'd come. And he's like, wait a second, I know that voice. And then she's like, come, little brother, has it been so long? I feel like we like, I can't pinpoint a time when they like actually interacted. It was like,
because he's kidnapped from the before the story begins.
Right. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And all they talk about is, they've spent so much time talking about the preternatural empathy link.
True.
That it's like that one idea is like the one thing that gets like really seated and gets like the beats that it needs, so that when it's time to use it, you're like, yes, I'm with you.
It just makes sense. So then they hug, and they're just like, and she says like, I actually like knew you were coming from hundreds of miles away. Like I just felt it. So here we are. And then we we just move into their, super chill, like wooded cottage. Benjamin Martell. See, now I don't know if I said it last time, but that name I bet you comes from Twin Peaks, because Pete Martell is like the guy who says, there's a fish in the percolator. That guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to imagine. I don't remember every character from Twin Peaks.
Oh, he's the older guy. He was also in Eraserhead and stuff. He's been in many of the different stuff. But anyway, so they meet here, and then this is the panel of Prime where I say he kind of looks like he's like hunched over. And he's like
kind of chunky.
Ugh.
Yeah, this is where he and Susan kind of have their first
like, what's up,
their
dude?
first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I had this thought about the preternatural link, which we'll talk about later on, but it's like, in order for we've been saying it all along, in order for the Grendel urge to do what it's supposed to do, which is control Earth so that people can live in peace, it must be tempered by compassion, or it must be guided by empathy in order for that much control. That's the meaning that I was taking out of the story.
Interesting. All right, so then we cut to the inside. It's nighttime now. They're kind of like talking around the fire. Seems like they ate. They haven't had like couches and chairs for a long time. I like the body language of the two on the couch, like on the left side. Her head's back, her hair's back over the thing. They both have their legs out. They're like
Oh, these
super
are
chilled out.
Azif's people.
Exactly. They're like that Grendel
Yeah.
crew.
I was really taken by the carpet, which looks very comfy and thick.
Exactly. They're just in, and so he's kind of just laying it all out. A little exposition dump here of like what their plan is.
They're among friends.
Right, exactly.
You know,
and
yeah, so
their new crew, you know.
Two-pronged attack. We're gonna Jupiter's gonna reclaim Dakota, and the Paladin and Azif's people are gonna go deal with Heath,
and
and
the Sunhouse.
we're gonna destroy the global satellite so that we can broadcast our signal that will say, "Here I am. It's been 10 years, but I'm here. I'm ready to lead you all."
Yes, exactly.
Good plan.
Done. And that's what they say. And then on the next page, they're just like, they continue to exposition dump until Susan's kind of like, I need to like handle some things outside really quickly as well. And this is the first time we kind of see like things moving for her character, things moving like a little bit to like where these characters are moving next. And also on the next page, Crystal's like, I'm coming with you. Like, I'm not staying here in the woods when I need to see my mother. I need to see this happen. I need to help you. And it's funny here, panel 3, she's kind of like talking back to the king or whatever, when the Grendels would never do that. And he's kind of like, ooh.
Like, I'm not one of your fucking subjects, she told him.
Yeah.
Well, you got me there for now.
Pretty great. And that's when they're just like, okay, and that's my cue. It's bedtime.
And Bernie and Catherine, I think, deserve a lot of compliments on this issue, but the kind of like light glow of the fire in this scene here and later on was really, really nice.
Yeah.
We
It
go
adds
outside
a real warmth to the scene.
Yeah, a pale glow.
Yes. That when we go outside here in the next scene, you can really see the difference of this. Like, now it almost feels like a cold night in the mountains when Susan confronts this Grendel Prime and is like, I'd like to come with you. I am a Grendel,
Well, she also says she sets up a reveal in a few pages that, or maybe the next page, that their relationship started, her and Crystal had a relationship and then it became a throuple, and it's like Crystal is too large a personality for any one lover. Oh right. Man, that's rough.
Right. Yeah. And,
I knew I'll tell my story about my friend who was in a throuple later.
All right. That's just for us.
Yeah.
All right. So, and we kind of see it revealed here as Crystal lays down with them and they talk, and he's kind of like, is this going to be the last time I hold you in my arms, my sweet Crystal? And
also he has a little bit of guilt for third wheeling himself in. I lied. I am going to tell the story about my friend who's in a throuple.
Oh wow.
So it's not a really story. So it's like she was with a guy, and then they brought in a girl, and then the two women got rid of the guy.
Wow.
I feel like that ain't that the way.
Ain't that the way? Who needs a guy? There's so much work.
I really like this one where they're in bed in 16, and the cosmos is sort of behind them.
Oh yeah.
Who among us hasn't felt that way?
Yeah, exactly. In this last embrace where they kind of like leave the room. That's a great point. I didn't see that then. And then
it's very subtle.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle afterthought, especially if you see this two little stars in the tiny lower right corner of the panel. Look at this. Look at the smoke and the fire.
Well, I was going to say, just like in the after moment, you see it's all dark and Susan kind of creeps in.
So sad.
Yeah, for real, man. That's amazing. The fireplace, the smoke going up as Azif and Jupiter are working out the rest of the plan, what's going to happen, what's Crystal going to do. But
Yeah.
Azif's got faith in his people, man.
This
Right
last
as
panel, the
Prime
rendering
comes
on
in.
Jupiter, kills me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prime comes in. They're gonna, I like that. It's like, among other things, they're like talking about like people's relationships and their dynamics, and like we got to wake up early in the morning. It's like it's like when they go to like the TV studios and guys are wearing collared shirts and wearing headsets and carrying clipboards.
Yeah, exactly. They're like,
I love it.
future.
Yeah.
Some things never change. You can't beat a fire. And it's the morning now. They're saying their goodbyes. Crystal's saying her goodbye, and she sees she's about to say goodbye to Susan, and Susan's like, "Dude, I'm going. I mean, I'm going, I guess, to the other mission, but I'm not staying here either." Like Susan's like, "I don't even like fucking Martell over here. I'm not staying with him. I'm here for
They
you.
both,
and if you're leaving,
yeah, right." And it's like, what's the point of, I gave up everything to be with you, and then so she sort of has recognized that over the years. So she's like, this is how I can get back in touch with myself. And then she says bye to Benjamin, and she's like, "Don't worry, my love. I'll see you soon, so soon." They say Martell doesn't have the stomach for fighting. He's not going anywhere. And they pull out. He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's like, whatever.
God.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Guy.
Nah, no good. And she won't ever see him again.
Yeah.
He's gone. All right, we flash back to Heath. He's in the observation lounge here, the conference room. Very Star Trek: The Next Generation here. They're chatting. Almost, I guess, every time I see a man and woman combination and the woman's got circle glasses and the man's got a beard, I'm just going to think it's like Diana and Bob. But you never know.
No, that's Tom Brevoort.
Tom Brevoort? Oh.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's
probably a nod, And Heath is just like, "How does the sun gun work?" And they're like, "I don't know. But yes, but we're trying, and we're getting closer and closer all the time." He's like,
"Yeah." The deadline is World Unification Day. I don't know if they had named that holiday in the last series. Like I think it's like the day after they use sun gun in Japan. They're like, "Hey, World Unification Day."
Yeah. We've annihilated everyone, so
yeah, and so now Heath is like, this is his big move to like, this is his last stand to be like, please don't do any more clan uprisings all over the planet. I have a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a gun. I don't know how to use it.
But you guys have something too. In the next page, they just continue to like be like, "We don't really know. Why do I even pay you? The sun gun will get us all back together."
Yeah, and he says he's using the same kind of violent, like,
sorry, this is
threats
different from page 20. Yeah, it's different people on 2020. It's the head of some clans.
These are his security. Yeah, these are his security people. Or yeah. Half of his people haven't shown up. He's like, "Don't worry, you're the one. You'll be rewarded for your it's Trump.
Your loyalty will be rewarded."
It's loyalty
in the afterlife. Yeah, definitely. All right, flashback to the convoy to this two-pronged attack. Azif and Crystal are chatting, and she's like, "Tell me, Azif, what kind of man is my brother?"
Right. This is the description I really liked.
Yeah. Read it if you want.
Well, I thought it was like he corrects her. He's like, "Your stepbrother." It's like,
right, yeah.
Used you. Jeez.
Dude, okay.
And then later on, Cooper does like say, "No, you're my sister." It's like, oh, okay, because Azif is jelly. We all get jelly sometimes. He says, "He is a leader born. My admiration for him grows with every day. He inspires confidence in others, yet he hungers to accept challenges, to win all the battles of life." You know who that sounds a lot like, except a little different? Hunter Rose.
Very.
What the one thing that Hunter Rose couldn't do that Jupiter does easily is inspire confidence in others. Hunter Rose could do that, but only through deception.
Right. He chose his own rise versus the rise of a group or a crew or some sort of belief system.
Well, he recognized that Stacy was the one who could guide him with empathy and compassion, but he couldn't he couldn't let himself be guided that way.
Right.
He wouldn't let himself be tempered, so he burnt out.
Yeah.
Says me, I don't know.
Hunter. This is an amazing third panel here on page 21. This amazing mountain.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, all the super deep the vistas in this issue, like every single one is like the landscapes are real character.
Beautiful.
Wait till they get to Mount Rushmore. That's wild.
Yeah. So they continue their chatting more, and like you can also kind of see maybe a little spark between them two, maybe a mutual admiration.
Yeah, well, they get married.
Yeah. And you
so
know, he is almost jealous of the love that she found, and he said, you know, because of that, you're luckier than most people. To which they zoom off, and she has this kind of like, oh, maybe I was, you know.
Well, she has no idea of her own privilege, and as readers, we've seen very few stories or moments that are removed from the aristocrats and the people in high levels of power. Sure. Right? We were, you know, in Epi's hovel, and you know, the people on the street and all that stuff, but
warehouses or something. Yeah,
we don't know what it like. That a period of 10 years has passed. Like, we just don't know what life on Earth is like, and I gotta tell you, like, I would love to see 10 years of Benjamin Martell.
Yeah,
you know, like, you know, or whatever, you know,
or any of these people,
or any of these characters.
The really, stuff later on, like when we see people kind of in their daily lives too, it's interesting. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Interesting, even more still interesting is nude Jupiter waking up his sister in the middle of the night to hawk her about her Jean Grey powers, and she says, "Don't worry, you're gonna be fine." Yeah. He's like, "I am gonna be," you know. He's like, you know, it's exactly, yeah.
This page like, 2 strikes me as like standing out as like, I can tell that this is not Matt drawing and this is not Pat McEwen drawing. Like, these faces and
yeah,
it just like Jupiter's face there it looks different than the rest of the art from this whole run.
His very thick lips stand out for sure, and all his like 90s hairdo, his like Joe Madureira hairdo is like his little different.
His ponytail's down or something like that.
Oh, I see. He has his coronation hairdo is another, like, it's got like a Michael Jackson bit going on.
Yeah. All right, flashback here to Heath, you know, and so here's where things start to really kind of step up. And Heath is like, you know, son of a, where they spot they spot Susan and Prime, like in these security cams. Really cool.
They know exactly who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. These are like public enemy number one. Mm-hmm. You love the holding lines on there, don't you?
You love the no holding lines. Well, it's funny. The first big one, the wide shot of like the train station, is like has shades of Funky Town in it.
Shades of Funky Town, yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, Bernie, just please make this happen.
There's some humor. Like, why is this guy lying on the ground? You know, where there's a dog shitting.
Because it's Funky Town. We haven't been here for 20 issues. Yeah, each one of these panels is cooler than the last.
For sure. Yeah. And this Grendel was telling him that, like, you know, we see these people and it is, you know, this is the guy that stole Jupiter. This is the girl that assisted Crystal in her breakout, Susan Varigan. And so like, this is a matter of the utmost importance. And he's like, you got him, right? This is happening right now. And he's like, no, this kind of like came through our thing after the fact. We have no idea.
Heath's unreasonable request is that they do a search of the entire city, starting at the house and spiraling outwards. And then
house by house, every single house.
I think later on, one of the Grendels is like, we're working double time until whenever.
That's right. We're all working
indefinitely.
That's right. Yeah. God. And it's interesting too. The guy says, "Yes, sir, Vivat Grendel," and he's like, "Yes." Like, it does he Vivat Grendel, or is at this point he's like, "I am everything now," or something? You know. All right. So here's
back to one of our favorite locations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The faces look different. I mean, I definitely see Manny there.
Yeah. Manny's there. I think it's like, well, I wouldn't get too caught up in it. I think the idea is that it's been like destroyed and rebuilt a few times.
Ah, yeah.
That's
it doesn't
why
look
there's
like Elvis anymore. I don't.
Right, that's right. So do you
Is
think
he the
Elvis
third
is supposed to be
face?
next to Manny?
I think
Or is
so.
that supposed to be Kennedy?
But who's on the other side of Lincoln? It looks like Alfred E.
And
Newman or something.
where's Orion? Isn't there
Right.
so it's
Shouldn't.
like
Right.
right, Alfred E. Newman is up there, but not anyway, I love the second panel of them rappelling down Washington's head.
Yeah, really.
And
cool.
then there's just like a little button that opens up the eyelid.
Yeah.
Your father was a genius.
He's like, he was. He should have been like, I know he was.
I know he was. Yeah. Dot your lowercase j's. And then they just bust on inside.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is where the guy's like, we're working triples.
Stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it is. And they're kind of hiding around the corners, waiting for it. And then next page, we see Azif, and he does kind of pull the Han Solo thing where he's like, "Hi,"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What the?" And he's like, "Yo, what's up, Walter?" And he's like, "What, Walt? How do they know your name?" And Walt's like, "Here's how he does."
Gives him the old foot. Look at the beautiful orange background circle in the panel's
really
border.
cool.
It's really nice.
He fucks him to death, man.
He futs him. And then I love that like they gun these guys down. Walter takes off his goofy Grendel helmet, and he's like, "Oh, it's good to see you again."
Yeah, and he's like, "It was a lot easier to kill those guys than I thought. They were numbskulls." Yeah.
So there's a lot. They have a lot of. They said this in the fireplace scene that they have a lot of people that they've like spent 10 years infiltrating in, and very conveniently they happen to be using them at the right places. I'll allow it. Sounds good.
Yeah, we got him. All right, so then he's just like, "Let's do this. Follow me. We're going in." And this is like the caper is afoot. They've infiltrated and they blow. What is it? Plastic explosive. This door open. Jupiter runs in, and we see the Dowager woman on her giant Shaquille O'Neal circle bed, and she is just. Whew.
I actually really like the bed. I think it's like my favorite part is on the vertical part of the circle underneath the shadow of the blanket where it gets another green in there, a little dark green.
That is awesome.
Nice
That's a good job by Bernie. And the smoke, the swoops, the dry brush and the smoke there.
Very, very Bernie.
Hey, that's great. Good job, Bernie.
This is the scene I was talking about where the guys are like the TV production guys, just like trying to make sure everything's going good in their shirt sleeves, and they're trying to.
He's got it.
He tells him, on. Yeah. They tell him, we still haven't found the people we're looking for. I need them. Okay.
All right. Yeah. I need those prisoners. And so he calls in, he's like, "Station 75, report." And while he's on this like self-centered call, I mean, people behind, these are the TV producers, and these are other people they have on the inside, and they whip out shivs and they just stab that dude in the neck.
It's been 10 years. They have all the right people in all the right places.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's going out there none the wiser to the fact that like it's all about to hit the fan. We flash back to the Dakota complex when this evil old woman is calling her Devil Child.
Devil Child. Ding. They give Heath a really nice caption here I'd like to read.
Okay.
Abner Heath had been the guy had played the last card in his attempt to rein in the unruly clans. His final hope had been to deflect attention from his empty threat of the reactivated disc with a pair of political scapegoats and a furor for a public witch trial. Now rhetoric was his only asylum. Okay,
right.
Sorry.
He was hoping to be like, "Look at these two people that I've caught. They were trying to bring me down, but I am this great ruler,
Yeah.
And now he's just got to go out there and spout his rhetoric. All right, so we're back here. She calls her Devil Child, and it was your fucking death that did this to me. And they start fighting, and Jupiter's got this trump card in his sleeve. He's got the Ace of Diamonds. He's got the Wild 2. He's got the wild card, man. And
I absolutely thought it was a thermal detonator before I turned the page.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way this isn't a grenade.
It's
And you turn
amazing.
the page.
It like flies up. Yeah, it turns the page, and boom. Orion,
Using color.
the visage of Orion Asante in holograph form. He's all red.
Yeah.
With that
Except
white,
for
yellow.
The yellow is the projector.
Oh, I see. That's cool.
So the primary colors are really doing some storytelling on this page.
I mean, he destroys her right here.
Right. And
like,
this
I
you
knew
can
the
see
whole time. I'm dumb. You're dumb. I knew the whole time you were like, just a pretty, scarf that I wore. You were like nothing more than like just a little bit of beauty to like please the masses. You're done. It's all over.
Panel 3, absolutely inked by Matt. I hope I'm right, but that looks like
the
that's
Ryan
like definitely
face.
his line. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Heath is giving his spiel in front of the Sun Disc. He's being projected on his big TVs. Today we gather to celebrate a way of life that has proven to be a veritable beacon of stability in a once restless world. Today we look to the future for inspiration and the past for revelation. You see the guy in the Superman shirt?
Superman shirt? Yeah, it's great.
It's the best thing. The past for revelation. There's Superman. And then there's this crazy thing. There's this one building, you can see it behind Superman. It's the spire's been bent.
Just amazing, like craziness.
Oh,
I didn't see it
that.
in that crowd shot, but now you kind of zoom in, and then we zoom in and we see that they're basically catapulting Prime into the Sun House.
Yeah, look at the panel 1. You're on 36, I believe, where it arcs out of panel in the midground and then arcs back into panel in the foreground. It's so cool.
Yes.
So much space. I love it.
We're getting like these very futuristic buildings too. I really like that, the roundness. Very kind of like Tatooine or something like that. And then they flick him and he comes in. I love this too. 37, you see his shadow coming into those well-known glass windows, and he looks up as he's saying, "We're gonna reaffirm our bonds." He's like, "What?" Sublama knocks him down. He's like, "What?" And then this killer splash of Prime with his saber, man.
His lightsaber's out, yeah. Very cool.
That's so sick.
And then the I like the colors on Heath's balloon. Like really very nice job.
He's so pissed. Get him, kill him.
These guys all come out, and then Susan Verrigan busts out in a Han Solo pose.
Oh, absolutely.
And the Red Devils come in.
And they're all, she's leading like they all got dressed in these Grendel, in the police force Grendel suits. But then they're coming out across the Red Devils. And then we get this page 40. For some reason, to me, I feel like this is the most well-known like page of Grendel Prime. I don't know if it's because like I do a lot of like Grendel Googling for different stuff for the show. And like I see this all the time.
This one always comes up.
Yeah, maybe it's that. But like for some reason, this is just very like, this is like Prime.
He's in that classic skanking pose.
Yeah, and he jumps up as he's like lighting people up, and then we get this narration from Crystal again, and here's where we really find. I'll read this square if you don't mind. In the creation of his ultimate paladin, Orion I, or the first, however you read it, had bestowed a twofold legacy on his only son. For housed within the cyborg's internal mechanisms were the crucial components necessary for the ignition of the sun disk. What if he just opens his stomach and a bunch of bananas fall out?
I love how it's totally simple. It's just put your hands on this and it'll go off. This first panel, the long horizontal one, does the thing that I admire, I think, this book the most for, which is that it poses its like action hero in very natural and like not very heroic poses. Like he like we got to get there. So like there's times where I've said before, it's the opposite of Jim Lee posing characters for a camera that's not there.
Right.
Here, they're not posed for a camera that is there. It's great.
Right. And you can feel the weight. Like you see that this is like a heavy person flying down. This is not someone who defies the laws of physics and flies or something like that. This is a heavy, paladin that's dropping down. So he goes in, he toka tap talks. He's aiming. He, completes the circuit with his body, and then the sun gun shoots up into the atmosphere, destroys this
that's their satellite.
That's whose satellite? Like that's
Heath's global control.
Okay,
that's the Connate satellite.
Okay, yeah.
Because they need to destroy that so that they can broadcast whatever Jupiter's about to say. Yeah.
Right. On my mark. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Transmit with a blip, and then here we go. When he's like taking over everything, he's back. He's like, fellow citizens, I hail you, and I am like the Khan's son. I am Jupiter Nikolaos Asante, heir to Orion the first, and I offer this proof that I am who I am. And the dowager's like, that's the kid. All right, Vivat Grendel. And then
look at Bernie with the cellulite far out.
Oh, Bernie. Wow, yeah,
that's very good.
And then on the next page here is where we see these, like, I liken this to the end of Cable Guy when the TV goes out and you see all the different like families that you've been following. And
wait, isn't this like also doesn't this happen at the end of God and the Devil where they jam the signal? It's like the same. I think
so, and they go
same kind of move.
Yeah, you see all these different people. Panel 2 looks like high school me for some reason is standing in the background there. Dreaded up, little chin strap, big colorful clothes.
I really like this panel. I think the woman on the left is like very Matt Bernie, the Brotherhood style.
On the bottom left, panel 4.
No, the woman with the glasses right above high school you.
Ah, yeah. How he has like two sizes or two shapes.
And then we got this Manny's cousin is over here scheming, or some other cyborg dude is scheming.
Yeah, dude, my page is like off register actually. It's really interesting.
Yeah, there's a bunch of my pages where the black plate looks like it's doubling up a little bit.
Yeah.
Not in this one for me. And then I really like this woman. She spills the coffee. You remember in E.T. where she sees the disgusting white E.T. and she just dumps her coffee onto the carpet?
Yeah, little moment. It's like that.
This is the sequence I was talking about where it goes the bottom yellow, orange, red as he gives a Vivat Grendel. It has a very Jaime Hernandez feel this last year.
Yeah. Everyone throws their hats up in rejoicement, and we kind of rejoicement, is that a word? Throws their hat up and
close enough.
And the crowd rejoices. Hey. All right, and then so we learn a little bit now. Like, I guess some time has passed here. He's a little bit older, and this everyone remembers where they were when Jupiter Asante took the throne back. The powerful reign. He promised to be more powerful than even that of his father, or so it seemed. Interesting. Yeah. And then
this happens immediately afterwards. Yeah, right. Catch us up, please.
This is the kind of like
coronation happened immediately.
Oh yeah. And then we kind of the movie ends, and then it comes back, and we kind of get like after the film, Crystal Kennedy served for years as chief advisor to Jupiter the First. She eventually married Azif, and she served as the Grendel Khan's minister of clan relations. They had no children, and they divorced after 7 years. Susan was director of security for the Khan's private Dakota retreat. But then, again, after several years, she resigned, grew dreads, and we'll see her later. Heath was captured during the rebellion in the Sun House and was eventually sentenced to the taking of his own life. Seppuku.
A vertical seppuku, the rare variant.
Ooh.
The vertical stroke.
Oh, right. And then this is brutal, man. God damn. Laurel Kennedy was buried to her neck in the bottom of Death Valley, her eyelids sewn open, her mouth packed with salt. And the last miserable hours of her life were broadcast worldwide for all to see, to be like, yo, don't fuck with me. I did this to my stepmom, and that's it. And then we go back to, I guess this is Orion's head at Mount
Right.
Rushmore.
Yeah, I sure. It should be Orion's head.
It should be. And he's just, and Paladin.
It's
Prime.
probably Heath's head.
No, I hope not. Oh man,
Right, so
he's just like,
they say their goodbyes.
Yeah, I have fulfilled my quest, and now it's up to you. Now you have to do what you were destined to do, and I'm gonna go cruise. I'm a Ronin now.
I'm a Ronin. Vivat Grundle.
Mhm.
Deuces. And he rides off in the sunset, and that's it.
Beautiful sunset, man.
Yeah. And then this excerpt is not, I don't think, in the trade in the issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Although legends abound of encounters with Grendel Prime, there has been no documented contact with him since that fateful day so long ago. Scientists can only speculate as to the possible lifespan of such a creature. It's going to be long. Conceivably, his existence could go on for centuries. In any event, his effect on the ultimate continuation of the Grendel identity cannot be overemphasized. That's interesting, the Grendel identity.
Right.
In the face of an entire world of adversity, here is a being who not only miraculously endured, but also saw to fruition the hopes and aspirations of the very race. Who knows what effect he will next inspire when again he chooses to dabble in the fiery vortex of human affairs.
Excellent.
Perhaps he'll get transported to Gotham City.
We didn't even talk about
We didn't talk about this wraparound Matt Wagner insane cover.
Really
Beautiful.
cool.
I mean,
So-
spoilers. It's kind of crazy how.
So do you think I feel like Gotham City happens after the painted ones? I'm not. We have to be absolutely.
Didn't Matt tell us in issue 100? He's like, "Where are you going next, Batman?" That's
No,
what I thought he said.
I think Matt may have said something like, well, one leads into the other, but I can't remember which one.
We'll have to see where Grendel Batman 2 picks up exactly. Like, does it pick up right from this? We'll have to see. Like, is he riding off into the sunset?
I think Devil's Quest happens first.
Devil's Quest happens first. I thought that was later. We're gonna get into it because I thought we had this
right.
solved.
Well, the problem is they're related. Either one happens before the other for sure.
And we'll figure it out. All right. As we move forward into these tales, we're going to kind of dabble and play just as Matt and the artists and writers played with the format of Grendel. We're going to kind of play with the format of the cast. We're going to cover a few. We're going to cover it in chunks.
I do think that we have a wonderful opportunity to help you join the conversation because we've spoken for hundreds of hours.
Right.
About this topic, and your perspectives are valuable to us as well. So come join the conversation as we dig into these tales. Some of the best comics ever made.
Yes.
We learned a lot today.
Yes, and it's amazing to finish another big run. I mean, the bulk of it, and what
this
people
is the
think
cycle.
Of. Yeah, the cycle is fairly complete.
Yeah, and I really love how we had an opportunity to talk about Hunter and Hunter's goals and Hunter's shortcomings and how Jupiter is able to, stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah. And take the good of all, maybe. I mean, I guess Brian didn't really have good.
Well,
he
Orion
was a good person, but it's what are you going to take from Brian? What good lesson?
Brian is so minor. Brian's an afterthought. Brian is still in the prototypical stage,
Yeah, he didn't get. He was days.
He's still figuring out what it is. Yeah, Brian's fine. Brian looks cool.
He looks awesome, and that run kills it with Bernie. But yeah, but I mean, it's very interesting to see Jupiter. We do see him again. It's interesting to dip back in, and when reading through tales,
actually, I actually think that's Orion the Second. Is the character you're thinking of?
Oh, we never see Jupiter again
in Devil Quest.
Oh no, in Devil Quest, yeah, we see it's the grandson or something of
It's someone else, yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't think we see Jupiter ever again.
Well, we'll see.
Never again. We'll see. Some people think you do. Some people think you don't. We'll find out.
Again, thank you all so much. we're going to continue on, and we're diving deep into Grendel Tales now. I'm pretty psyched, man. We're putting the
we've
tale
got more
in
Prime.
details.
We actually have more Prime to do first, but
we got some more Prime. Yeah,
We've got
Batman
Greg.
or past
we've
Prime.
got the Prose.
Oh my God, the
Past
Prose
Prime.
novel. Yes,
Yes, past Prime, Devil's Quest, Batman.
I did forget.
Plus
about
the
that.
beginning of Odyssey, the first 4 issues of
Oh, that's right.
Odyssey.
Yeah, that'll be the end of the cast. That'll be the last thing we do.
Yeah.
All right, Duder.
That's
Another great week. Vivat Grendel.
Keep on Grendeling. Don't stop Grendeling.
Just
Goodbye.
don't stop